Baylor coming at 4-1. San Diego State 3-2 after they beat Oregon handily last night. And now they play again one day later to wrap up this Players Era event. Brandon Gaudin and Robbie Hummel back with you. This has been such a fun event. Last game for these two teams. Let's start by talking about Baylor and Cameron Carr, Robbie. In the two games here, he's had 48 points.
Yeah, and I don't think that people were necessarily talking about Cameron Carr because of the thumb injury he suffered last year at Tennessee. Only played 4 games, but he has announced himself to the Big 12 and honestly the nation in a big way. 4 of his last 5 games, he's gone for 20 or more. Shoots it with real range, plays off screens, can get to the rim. He's a pretty good athlete. Cameron Carr, just a really good player. On the flip side, Reese Dixon Waters, another guy that didn't play last year in 2025, had that right foot injury. But you look at the way that he's played on the season, big part of San Diego State's offense against Oregon in the win. 22 points, an efficient 9 of 13 from the field. He really bounced back in a big way, Brandon. Only had 5 points, 1 of 7 against Michigan the day before.
Well, San Diego State has another star in Miles Byrd, and for more on him, let's welcome in Nabil Kareem.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. He is a star, and he was actually going to go to the NBA, went through the draft process last year, but decided, hey, you know what, I need a little more seasoning, so he came back to college, and it was a great idea for him. His field goal percentage up 8%. He's also shooting 41 from 3. Staying at San Diego State was a no-brainer for him. He said there's a relationship and trust with the program. He really believes it. Keep up the efficiency and build up his body that he can be a first-rounder in this year's NBA draft, guys.
Well, he's got a chance to continue to prove that tonight as we get a look at the starting lineups. Of course, Byrd in the lineup along with Reese Dixon Waters. And for Baylor, keep in mind, folks, they are very short man. They basically have 7 available scholarship players, with J.J. White being out with an injury earlier in the tournament. 3rd game in 3 days for them. So, Robbie, that will certainly be something to watch.
Well, it's certainly when you talk about these events and with both these teams, you're not playing for the championship. You're not playing necessarily for the money at this point. So the thing you have to look at is you are playing for your resume. If you're Baylor, you can get a quality win at San Diego State. If you're San Diego State, it's vice versa. And you're trying to just stack that resume for Selection Sunday. And what an opportunity for both these teams. Our game 1 here tonight, we saw St. John's kind of sleepwalk, and then it was the other way. You know, certainly both teams had their moments, and Auburn able to kind of find their way. Who has the energy is the biggest thing in a game like this.
Saw Brian Dutcher on one side in his 9th season. He's been so good for the Aztecs. And Scott Drew, 23rd season now at Baylor. Of course, the marquee year, the 2021 National Championship. One name we haven't mentioned, that guy right there, number 0, the 7-footer for San Diego State, Magoon Guaf. He will jump against Carr. Finishing off our Wednesday here at the Players Era, and Baylor will have the first possession.
Well, we'll see if Baylor can get on the offensive glass the way they did against St. John's. 26 offensive rebounds, and for San Diego State, it's been a problem all year long of rebounding misses. Only 64% in terms of defensive rebound percentage. That's good for 283rd nationally.
Ratai just slipped right to the bucket, caught it and laid it in. Good start for Baylor.
Well, Baylor essentially plays 5 perimeter players. They've got some positional size, but they don't necessarily have bigs.
And it's a unique look for Scott Drew and company. Harrington picks it up, late shot clock. Miles Byrd going to work. Way outside the arc, and he airballed it.
And a good first defensive possession for the Baylor Bears right there. Now they're getting out and they're running.
Even though they have 7 players, looking like they've got some fresh legs right now. A block, but a foul on Guaf.
Like 2 possessions for Baylor, and you get 2 paint touches. Magoon Guaf, you got to stay down on that shot fake. Dan Skillings can make it 3, but only 30% on the year. Guaf, an excellent shot blocker, so certainly for Skillings to get a foul on him early, that's big.
Both of these teams 1-1 here in Vegas. San Diego State and Brian Dutcher, they lost Monday to Michigan big time by 40, then bounced back to beat Oregon yesterday. And Baylor missing the 2nd free throw, but the Bears, they beat Creighton Monday and then lost to St. John's yesterday. As Robbie mentioned, they struggled in that ball game.
Well, as for losing to Michigan big time, it seems like everybody's doing that out here. They are on fire.
Yeah, Dusty May, he's got a real contender this year. Bad pass. Here comes Ratai.
I mean, Ratai is essentially Baylor's center, but he'll sometimes play pick and roll. I mean, he has perimeter skills.
Obi Agbin gives it up.
Yes, if he will shoot that, but he wants to be a driver. Scored a ton of points in high school.
You know Carl will shoot it, but he raised the iron.
He's shooting 56% from 3 on the year.
Yesufu almost got the steal. By the way, speaking of Michigan at half right now in the championship, they're up 24 points.
Man, they have just been unbelievable out here in Las Vegas. Certainly a contender in the Big Ten this season.
That game over on TNT right now, down the road here. LZ Harrington, preseason freshman of the year, almost threw it away.
But Baylor, look at where San Diego State is running their offense. I mean, just the press, they push this San Diego State attack out.
Late shot clock again. Dixon Waters has to hoist.
So far, Baylor's defense has been on point, and that's a foul that Magoon cannot take.
Wow, Robbie, that's 2. We've only played 2 minutes.
That's a big development right here. That's going to be Ratai's rebound. Just let that roll and live to play another possession. That's a silly foul.
They never got the ball inside the three-point line on that possession. Dan Skillings Jr. turns the corner. Left hand. Got the bounce.
What a finish there. Skillings just ripping it with the left. The degree of difficulty on that. Flipping it up, taking it high.
Skillings said he was very frustrated yesterday. Only 4 points and he fouled out. And they're going to grant the timeout to San Diego State. They need a timeout. They're all out of sorts.
Well, Skillings was a monster on the offensive glass along with most of his teammates yesterday. He had 4 offensive boards. Maybe not as efficient as he would have liked with the 2 of 8 mark you mentioned, Brandon, but good for him to see one go in early. And Scott Drew has to be thrilled with the way his team started here.
What a response. Undermanned, dealing with all those injuries, but they've got all the momentum to start this ball game. Folks, 4 days of college hoops action in under the Palm Springs Lights. The Acrisure Series will conclude Friday, 2 Eastern. You can get it on True TV and HBO Max. What do you think Brian Dutcher just told his crew?
Well, like you said, these possessions, they've got to make Baylor kind of feel some pressure. Everything has been on the perimeter. The pressure has really bothered them. You're going to have to kind of flip that. Get something going towards the rim. Make Baylor get some help. Move the ball from side to side. But so far, it's just been stuck on the perimeter, and Baylor's been a set defense. Look at the way Baylor switching everything and just getting in bounds. So difficult.
In the corner, maybe that'll settle him down. The freshman Harrington with a 3.
Well, I like LZ Harrington. 6'5", has great size. Last 2 games, averaging 13 a game. He's been so efficient. Now 12 of his last 16 from the field.
Here's Dan Skillings again, and he traveled with it.
Well, San Diego State needed something. You know, that inbounds play is so difficult. Just a little jab and pull right over the top of Ratai.
San Diego State has a lot of veterans back. Harrington is the new guy, preseason freshman of the year in the Mountain West. But they return a ton, including Dixon Waters. 3-pointer and the foul on Yesufu.
Well, he had it going against Oregon. 9 of 13 from the field, 22 points. Reese Dixon Waters, you think about just his situation of not playing last season, the frustration of sitting out. He's got a lot to prove this year. That foot is healthy. He just can't foul a jump shooter. Dixon Waters shooting 38% from 3. Gotta have a better contest.
So he was great against Oregon, as you said, and Off to a good start here tonight, and now it's a 7-0 San Diego State run.
The good thing to see, Brandon, was that he had struggled against Michigan. So the bounce back in that Oregon game, exactly what Brian Dutcher wanted to see.
Carr skips it across to Skillings. Into the shot clock. Ratai in the lane. Up with it. Short.
Good defense there. You got Jeremiah Oden just moving his feet and making Ratai make a pull-up.
Oden, another one of those guys that's been around a 6th-year senior. So much experience for Brian Dutcher. Here's another veteran. Short.
That came off flat out of his hand. You knew that wasn't going in immediately. That was a line drive.
Good rebound by Carr, who transferred from Tennessee last year. Agbim.
Agbim has just not been able to find the range. Now 2 of his last 11 from 3.
And Dixon Waters misses as well.
I think we're gearing up here for a game with some pace. These teams, they're not afraid to go.
And again, can Baylor sustain their legs for a full 40? Ratai. Everybody's putting up threes. There's a bump. That's going to go against Miles Heide of the Aztecs. Early action. Both teams feeling each other out here in Vegas. A 5-0 run by Baylor, then a 7-0 run by San Diego State. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Area is presented by Sam's Club. Join Sam's Club today and celebrate the season of yes, and say yes to everything you want and need. Now, Baylor looking nice and loose before the game. They're down 2 right now, 7-5. But for more on the Bears, back over to Nabil.
Yeah, guys, it's impressive on how Baylor has come together in such a short period of time. Turnovers commonplace in college basketball. We all know that, but Baylor's overhaul was significant. 8 transfers, 4 freshmen, and not a single returning starter from last season. Now, figuring out the X's and O's, that's one thing, but chemistry and cohesion is another. Coach Drew said when you build a new roster like this, the biggest fear is missing out on character. However, that hasn't been the case here. Coach Drew says everyone gets along, and part of that is the common goal of competing and representing the school the right way, and you can see they're having fun doing it.
And they lost some big pieces last year. Of course, VJ Edgecombe, number 3 in the draft. Robert Wright transfers to BYU. We'll see how they handle it this year as the season goes.
Well, if anyone can do it, you want a Valparaiso, Indiana native to be that guy. So.
Says the Valpo native Robbie Hubble. There's a tie-up underneath. There was only 1 on the shot clock, and it'll go the other way. Yeah, Scott Drew, of course, grew up watching his father Homer Drew coach at Valparaiso. Scott had 1 season there before going to Baylor.
And Jared Nunes on his staff, assistant coach, was a really good player at Valpo. A good point guard.
So you feel right at home.
No,
Dixon Waters. He's got 4 early. One-handed pass to the corner. 3 on the way, and the 3 is down for Jeremiah Oden.
Boy, what a skip pass that was from Reese Dixon Waters. Jeremiah Oden only shooting 21% from 3. Gets that one to go. That was a terrific look there.
A 10-0 run. Will it stop here? No.
Contest by Pharaoh Compton to get back in that play. Caden Powell is really the lone big for Baylor on this team.
And there's Pharaoh again. Great defense from the sophomore from Chicago.
They're going to need it with locked and foul trouble. Compton is in line to get major minutes here in the first half.
Number 5 for the Aztecs, making his presence felt. There's a foul on Caden Powell.
A little pick and roll here, and Dixon Waters. Look at the way Baylor is just loading up, and then you got that screen there. Taj DeGorville setting it. Jeremiah Oden able to cash in.
The Aztecs shoot it better than 40% from long range, as Robbie mentioned earlier. They're 3 of 6 so far, so continue to watch that stat as the game goes.
When Baylor has not necessarily been good at guarding the 3 this year. They're 14th in the Big 12, 290th in college basketball, giving up 35% from downtown.
Offensive.
Yeah, they got Dixon Waters moving on that cross screen for Compton. I like the thought, though, of getting Pharaoh Compton a look. He's been so efficient. He's 15 of 17 on the year, all of them from 2. He's made a couple defensive plays, so reward him on this end. He's been a guy that can, when he gets it, he will score.
Isaac Williams, the 4th, will bring it up. Texas A&M Corpus Christi transfer. It's been 4 minutes since Baylor had their last field goal. Skillings, kick out. 3 on the way. It is good by Williams.
Just a nice little drive and kick. Smart play from Skillings. You drive that ball. If the help comes over, you kick it out.
Williams has had a pretty solid tournament here, including 14 points yesterday against St. John's.
He's been so efficient on the year. 54% from the field.
Tapped out.
Bird. He didn't have to do that. That was an uncontrolled tip.
You're right. Whoa, going up with ill intent. Cameron Carr wanted a Vegas poster.
Oh, that was ambitious. I don't think Cameron Carr was ever above the rim there. Now, he is athletic. he can make some plays that'll make your jaw drop, but certainly look at where he took off from.
It's basically the elbow.
He took off from just inside the foul line.
He wasn't alive when Michael Jordan jumped from the free throw line in that competition, but he kind of looked MJS, but just not as much height.
Yeah. Other guys have done that dunk. Dwight White. Remember James White?
Robbie Hummel?
No, that's not true. Only on the little tykes.
Yeah. Hey, I know that feeling. It's electric. Well, speaking of Michael Jordan in the NBA, Cameron's dad, Chris, played 6 years in the league after a nice career at Southern Illinois. And he converts at the line. So we had a 5-0 start by Baylor, then San Diego State scored the next 10, and now Baylor on a little 5-0 run to tie it. B.J. Davis was a starter last year, now coming off the bench, trying to provide instant offense.
He's played well. 3 straight games in double figures. That's a guy that can come in. He can really give you a spark scoring it.
Here he's trying to defend a much bigger player in Yesufu. Wow. And Yesufu goes to work.
That's a play that feels like a settle maybe because of the size differential there. But Yesufu, man, I mentioned it earlier, he scored a ton of points in the state of California in high school. He's a bucket getter.
Over 3,600, the California record.
Illegal.
Yeah, that is illegal. It's offensive. And this kid, Robbie, they think that he could be a lottery pick Tunde Yesufu.
Well, he's just got a body on him for a freshman that you're like, man, it must be nice. Putting B.J. Davis in the post, using that physicality, getting to his turnaround jumper. That's a dude that can live at the rim with that dribble drive.
Splits the defenders in the lane and give Williams 2 and give Baylor a 9-0 run.
How about Isaac Williams just burning it by everybody on San Diego State? For the Aztecs, a little bit uncharacteristic. Their defense this year not nearly as staunch as past seasons.
Davis will get to the line when we return.
Isaac Williams off the bench and a quick 5 points. Blow it by Farrell Compton. Get right by Miles Bird. He's getting by everybody. What a start to his game out here in Vegas.
Eczema.
Welcome back to the Geico Players Era Championship coverage on True TV, presented by Eli Lilly. Baylor 14, San Diego State 10. Happy Thanksgiving, one and all. Hope you're celebrating, having a good time tomorrow. We've been having a good time out here in Vegas, and these two teams will be heading out after this game, but hoping to leave with one more win. And right now, San Diego State, they've got to find an answer. Baylor on a 9-0 run.
Well, and the balance for Baylor, it's not like it's been just one guy. You have everybody kind of grouped in from 2 to 5 points. I'm fascinated by Baylor's roster construction. Just from the sense of that Scott Drew had to rebuild so much. But to have, this little depth, and they're dealing with some injuries, so that's a part of it. But just a very interesting look where their starters are all perimeter players. And you wonder how that holds up in the Big 12. When you're dealing with the varsity of conferences, whether it's the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, how does that fare when you really don't have a traditional big outside of Caden Powell?
And a guy that they were hoping would be huge inside for them, Jocelyn Bodo, he's got an arm injury. There's no timeline on his return, but he was a two-time Big South Defensive Player of the Year at High Point. Well, they do get a bucket here with Michael Ratai.
Well, that backside is totally cleared out. You come off the ball screen, you skip it ahead, and then you get that roller. That's really good action and good offense by Baylor.
But to finish that point, Scott Drew feels like if they could get Bodo back, that could really be a game changer for them.
They're just going to need some bodies in Big 12 play.
As you said, that conference loaded. 5 to shoot. Miles Bird.
So far, they're doing a good job on limiting Bird's opportunities.
Bailed out with 1 on the shot clock, and that's the second foul on Tunde Yesufu.
Baylor on the year has done a great job of not fouling. Here's that action. Look at how Heidi's going to get out and be aggressive with that hard hedge. If you skip it ahead quick, your point guard's got to be unselfish. He's got to understand, I'm not getting an assist off this. I'm getting the hockey assist, which isn't nearly as something that those point guards want to do. But the good ones do it. You want your assists, but you're going to get an easy basket if you just throw it ahead and let your teammate do the rest.
Cheer on your favorite college basketball teams with officially licensed fan gear. For the best selection of team apparel and accessories, go to shopncaasports.com today. Taj DeGorville, the sophomore from here in Vegas. Vegas native. Able to get it at the line to make it a 2-point game, and Sean Newman Jr. is going to come on and replace him. Williams has had a good start to this one. Couldn't get that to drop.
San Diego State's got some numbers here.
And 4-on-2, they take advantage up top to Tay Simmons.
Off that missed layup, you have Baylor just crashing the offensive glass, and that's always a weakness. If you've got a team that's really good on the offensive boards, they're all going, you're going to have some opportunities if you can secure that defensive rebound to get out and run.
$16 apiece. Foul away from the ball.
I think he stepped out of bounds, and that was the first to come back in and touch it.
Our officials, Randy McCall, Vern Harris, Isaac Barnett, all over that one.
Only our play-by-play guy was.
At least our analyst was. 1 and 2, that's all we need, Robbie.
That's true. Just one of us has got to get it right.
If we bat 500, we're in the Hall of Fame.
That's a good point. That's a good baseball reference for a baseball guy.
Bounce
it's
up
late
top.
out here. A little contention in the booth is always good.
Bird on the angle with the right. He had to go high off the window.
He had to work for every bit of that. That killer crossover, get downhill, get that thing high off the glass. And even with some help defense coming over, Miles Bird is on the board.
And Bird, remember, that's the preseason Mountain West Player of the Year, number 21 in white. He's a good one.
He's been quiet.
How about that bounce? Soft rims here at Michelob Ultra.
Not quiet anymore.
Talked about him in the open, Robbie, but 48 points in the 2 games coming into tonight. Simmons patient.
Using the jump stop. Let that defense fly by, give a little shot fake, and get your easy one.
Let's see if that last shot doesn't get Cameron Carr going for the Bears.
Yeah, 5 points, but with the way that he's put up 20 in most of these games, this is a slow start for him.
He's got it right now. Quick pass over to Agbim. Agbim to the bottom of the bucket.
Well, they need to get his three-point shot going. It's been a bit of a struggle, but that's all made by Cameron Carr. Roll and replace action. He's coming off San Diego State because they're aggressive with that blitz. It's going to be behind you. That's where he finds that open three for Agbim.
Into the lane, up and down for Newman.
Sean Newman was 2 of 14 from the field on the year. Boost a bucket from him is.
Well, they'll take all the offense they can get from the LA native. Both teams settling in right now. That's off the mark by Skillings.
So far, San Diego State has done a good job on the glass. Baylor only has 2 offensive rebounds. This is a day after they had 26 against St. John's.
And the pace of this game, it's been fun so far.
It's not a game where like the fast break points are really ratcheting up, but there is a lot of action end to end.
Yeah, it's got an intensity to it. Timeout. You are watching the Geico Players Era Tournament on True TV. Baylor out of the Big 12, San Diego State out of the Mountain West. A good one on a Wednesday night. All tied, 22 apiece inside of 8 minutes. Time now to take a look at tonight's Impact Player, presented by Lilly.
Well, Cameron Carr off to that hot start on the season. A little bit of a slow start in this one, but starting to feel his way into the game. You go under on him, he's letting this thing go from 3. And then making a play for somebody else. Play pick and roll, hit the raised guy behind you. He's making the right read and setting the table for Obi Agbim.
Cameron Carr transferred last year in the middle of the season from Tennessee, but didn't play last year at Baylor. Sad. But he is obviously a big-time impact player for Scott Drew. But one thing to keep in mind right now, his teammates Yesufu and Williams both have 2 fouls. Trouble getting this in, but they do.
And Baylor on the year doesn't foul hardly at all. They've been so good. How can you? You put 7 guys, and you can't.
There's really no margin for error. Fadeaway jumper off the mark by Newman. Ratai, native of Germany, gives it back to Carr. Ratai penetrates and draws the block. That's going to go against Simmons.
Baylor has been aggressively seeking out that raise guy. That roll and replace where you're rolling the big and you're raising someone behind. Here it is. You've got on the roll Caden Powell, and you're throwing it behind him to Ratai. Now you're playing off a closeout. One of the hardest things to do in all of basketball. Chase Simmons does not agree with the call.
But now is 7 fouls on San Diego State, so 1-1 for Ratai. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is brought to you by Eli Lilly, a medicine company. And also by Geico. It feels good to Geico. In and out.
So we're probably going to see Magoon Gua sit for the entirety of the first half. We'll see what kind of rhythm he can find when he gets back.
Yeah, the 7-footer for the Aztecs picked up too quickly. Dixon Waters looked like he might have pushed off against Agbim. No whistle, and he buries it.
Well, Agbim may be trying to sell that a little bit, but Dixon Waters, so physical there, likes that turnaround jumper when he post guards.
Senior from Long Beach, California, puts the Aztecs back in the driver's seat.
That look that Agbim gave to the officials, like, come on, man. I'm already giving up some size.
Carr, a few feet behind the arc. Newman pushes tempo.
A good pass.
Is that a goaltend?
That was not going to go in either.
But it is a goaltend because the ball was on the cylinder.
It's a really athletic play from Cameron Carr. But I think if you let this go, I don't think it gets over the rim. What a pass that was from Newman. I don't know. Maybe it would have with the spin falling over. In live, I didn't think that was going to be be able to fall in there. I thought that was going to be a miss.
I think it would have hit the front of the rim and gone off, but either way, the bucket counts. San Diego State, they've made 6 of their last 7 now to have a 3-point lead. Carr backs it up, gives it to Agbim. He played in the Mountain West last year at Wyoming, did Agbim, so he's familiar with the Aztecs. Late in the shot clock, Skillings from deep, yes, and we are tied.
Dan Skillings, big shot for his confidence, 30% from 3 on the year. San Diego State, that could be an easy switch right there. Miscommunication, and he comes off and drills it.
Both teams shooting pretty well from deep, 7 combined threes.
Especially that late in the shot clock. And it's just all 5 guys. You can just switch that out and take it away.
Inside, they're going to get that on San Diego State. That's 2 on Farrell Compton. Back to the Skillings triple.
You got to make something happen. With Tay Simmons and Farrell Compton, that's 2 front court players, so even more so. But at 2 on the clock, that should be an automatic switch.
Well, with those 2 fouls for Compton, now both Compton and Guath on the bench for Brian Dutcher. Teaching moment over there for the sophomore from Chicago.
Welcome to the new era of technology. We did not have that back in our day.
Now we're seeing with the challenge system this year how those assistants are using those iPads to see if they want to challenge a call. Just had the whiteboard back when you played, Rob.
That's right.
It.
We weren't able to review our mistakes like this. Maybe a good thing, actually. You didn't get yelled at as much until the next day of film.
Good swat by Carr. Leak out. Nice move by Yesufu.
You get Tunde Yesufu in the open floor. With that athleticism and that size, you are not stopping him.
The game of runs continues. Baylor has scored 7 straight. Harrington trying to stop it.
Wow.
He does.
Boy, that's one of those shots where you're like, that's a little bit early. You haven't moved the defense at all, but Elsie Harrington stay hot. 66% from the field. Shooting 87% from 3 on the year.
Freshman with some confidence. Davis, smallest guy on the floor, gives it up, gets it back.
He's not afraid to get buckets either.
He's bumped by Skillings.
Harrington has just been riding the heater out here, riding that wave in Las Vegas. A little step back there. Yesufu looking like he might go under. He's giving him space, and Harrington, instead of using the ball screen, just steps it right back and shoots it.
Number 7 recruit in the state of California last year as a senior in high school in Long Beach. And as we mentioned, Mountain West preseason freshman of the year, a lot expected of number 3.
Top 150 kid, though, just inside at 139.
He goes to work, gives it up. Bowden.
Baylor going a little zone there. They overloaded with the ball screen and get Bird a great shot in the corner.
Yesufu.
That was a line shot.
That never was good from the moment it left his hand.
That thing was a liner.
Bird navigates inside, using that pivot foot, nowhere to go.
Good defense from Powell. Because Bird had the advantage. Curling that, he just switched it and took it all away.
Now B.J. Davis operating. Pulling up over the taller defender and knocking it down.
He just turns that ball screen down. Yesufu's got to send him to the screen, but still, he was in a pretty good spot. That was a pretty tough shot from B.J. Davis.
We've already had 9 lead changes. We haven't even played 17 minutes. And Scott Drew wants to talk things over with 3:12 remaining. From Vegas, Baylor and San Diego State. It's the Aztecs by a penny.
Oh no, it's
TNT Sports brings its final Big 12 matchup of the season. Regular season winding down. The Houston Cougars colliding with the Baylor Bears on the gridiron. Big 12 battle. Coverage begins Saturday at 11:30 Eastern on True TV, TNT, and HBO Max. There's the Sphere. That's where Robbie will be tomorrow night on Thanksgiving by himself watching The Wizard of Oz.
You're not going to go with me?
No, you're by yourself. Have your turkey. Go over there, sit in your lonesome, cry yourself to sleep.
Yeah.
3-point shooting. Both teams have hit 4. San Diego State a little more efficient.
Well, they've been so much more efficient on the year. 40% from 3 for the Aztecs on the season, whereas Baylor has been hovering around 35.
The Aztecs obviously aren't in a power conference, but what Brian Dutcher has done there, and you go before that to Steve Fisher,
Absolutely.
It's really impressive.
No doubt. Every year, they are a program that can win games like this. They beat high major opponents regularly.
Just got that off before the horn. Nice stick back inside by Ratai.
Ratai had 10 offensive rebounds by himself in the St. John's loss. For the most part, the Aztecs have kept Baylor off the offensive board. That's one of the few times they've been able to take advantage.
Another lead change, our 10th.
I don't think I've ever seen a player get 10 offensive rebounds in one game.
That's impressive.
That is an insane number. But I also don't think I've seen the team get 26 of them.
That's true. You need some help from your competitor, Davis. I'm going to say that went over the top, so it belongs to Baylor. Back to that Ratai putback.
Well, 10 of his offensive rebounds in that game. He's got 19 on the year. Almost half of his productivity in terms of getting on the offensive glass came from that game. And now he's bringing the ball up the floor. It's a unique situation for Baylor this year, but they're going to make it work. Good back cut.
And the reverse from Yesufu.
Yesufu takes that back door. A little bit over-aggressive there, taking it. You want to challenge any dribble handoff, but you can't let him get that.
Yeah, but without Robert Wright, he was their point guard, their floor general. He transfers to BYU, so it's a different adventure this year for the Bears.
B.J. Edgecombe has been fabulous in the NBA. For Philly, he's been awesome.
Do you see that being a problem without a true point guard as the season develops?
It's certainly, especially as you get into league play. Can Obi Agbim kind of be that guy? Can Yesufu sometimes handle it? Can you have a 5-man or essentially a pseudo 5-man? There's another
Carr patrolling the baseline.
Baylor flipping some of that aggressiveness that San Diego State's been known for over the course of Brian Betcher's tenure. That overplay, they're just backing these things and finding some easy ones.
Bird, that stops a 6-0 run for Baylor. Inside of 1 minute here the first half. Almost taken away, but Bird cannot keep it in bounds.
Well, and that play right there is why these back cuts have been there. Miles Bird, he's going to challenge some of these things. You get up your line. That's exactly what happens there from Harrington. It's a great read. Look at it's Harrington both times. They're kind of picking on him off the ball.
Carr can jump. I mentioned his dad, Chris, played in the NBA. He was the runner-up in 1997 in the dunk contest to some guy named Kobe Bryant.
No shame in losing that one.
No, not at all.
Look at Magoon Gwath is down there in the tunnel trying to stay warm. He's like doing calisthenics, but in fairness to him, he's been sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, he only played 2 minutes before picking up 2 fouls.
He's doing some high knees.
Like Jeffrey Anderson.
Yes. Maybe he learned it from him.
Well, he also, you see the brace on his right knee.
Trying to keep that loose as well.
Yeah, he's coming back from that ACL injury.
I don't miss wearing that Don Joy brace. You see those offensive linemen wear it. You see quarterbacks wear it on their plant leg.
Unfortunately, you had to deal with that too much, Robbie.
That's no fun. Shout out to Don Joy. I can see the lettering right there. Honestly, they're the only company that I know that makes those. So they've got a monopoly on the market. So props to them.
Sounds like you're their spokesman right now.
Well, I know one of their reps, Drew Lewis.
Williams at the line, hits the first. You texting Drew right now to let him know you got his mention.
Shout out to Donjoy.
You have that on your bingo card on a Wednesday night in Vegas, right? You just hit big.
This is the late night games. This is what happens in the scary hours.
Try to slip it in. Bad pass, out of bounds, and we head the other way. Haven't been many turnovers in the first half. 8 between the two teams.
Both teams shooting over 50% from the field. Entertaining first half. And no surprise with these two programs, as much success as they've had.
Baylor just was handed their first loss yesterday. San Diego State 3-2 coming in here. Six seconds between shot and game clock. Obi Agbim, the Colorado native, on the angle. Inside, Ratai spins and scores. Final seconds. Newman. Did he get the foul? He did. He got Carr off his feet.
Sean Newman is shooting 14% from the field and 16% from three. I mean, from his perspective, it's a really smart play. From Cameron Carr's perspective, it is not. And that's what Scott Drew is talking to him about right now. Now, if he makes the shot, you live with it. You pressure him up the floor. You certainly are in the vicinity. That's a really smart play by Sean Newman.
Another one of those experienced guys for Brian Dutcher. Now, he hasn't been in the Aztec program long. He transferred in from Louisiana Tech, but
averaged 8 assists last year. He was dropping dimes.
And he goes up a level to San Diego State as a senior. And he's got 3 free throws. He hits the first 2.
You follow a guy that's shooting 14 from the field, 16 from 3, but 100 from the line.
Not optimal
no.
For Scott Drew. 0.6 of a second. And he hits all 3. I don't think he even got it off. It does not matter. A fun 20 minutes here at Michelob Ultra Arena. And it's the Bears by 4 at intermission. After the break, folks, Tim Doyle, Dennis Scott, Seth Davis, Dalen Cuff, they're ready, warming up in the studio. After they finish their turkey, they'll be on the air with you, getting you caught up on all the day's action here in Vegas.
Say yes. Thank you for staying up late with us on the night before Thanksgiving. Cameron Carr, he can get up, Dennis.
Yes, he can take flight.
Sometimes that jumping, though, works the other way. The foul before the half.
Yeah, unless the guy shoot it from 40 feet. Stay down. Stay down.
That foul for the half, that's the Monsanto. Come on, you big dummy. You don't make no foul like that before the half.
Welcome back to Players Era Halftime, presented by Modell. I'm your host, Tim Doyle, alongside Seth Davis, Dennis Scott, Dalen Cuff. This was an excellent, well-played first half. You got 2 college teams shooting over 50% from the field. Both teams taking great care of the basketball. Scott Drew in his 23rd season on the sidelines at Baylor, and then Brian Dutcher, he just got his 200th win, Seth, earlier this year. San Diego State making some shots early.
Yeah, they seem to be in a pretty good rhythm, and I really like the fact that they have the game at their pace. Baylor not doing well early on in the closeouts, but as the half went on, their speed and athleticism took hold of the game.
Back and forth we go here, Dennis.
Well, finally, you say to yourself, Carr's going to do his thing, goes back door and scores here. They started picking up their defense a little bit, hitting the glass, and here you are now at the half, a nice little small lead.
Yeah, they didn't get one backdoor cut. They got two backdoor cuts there. That's what you got to do against that San Diego State Aztec pressure. As we check out the Modelo first half stats. Down, when you see this, what stands out?
Bench points for San Diego State. The number is obvious, but Baylor only plays like 7 youth. Your third game in 3 days here, and it has played a little bit up and down. And none of these teams are really good defensively. So how Baylor's able to handle this going into the second half, and can San Diego State outlast them? They've played, 10 guys deep right now, and guys have contributed. Last piece of this, Magoon went out of the game with 2 minutes into the game with 2 fouls. The guy is potentially an NBA player down the road. Like he when he comes back in this game, how he can impact this game, and can he stay out of foul trouble will be big.
Well, the Big 12 has been outstanding in this tournament. At one point, they were 9-2 overall. Baylor kind of doing their thing as well.
Second best league in the world next to the NBA, according to their unbiased Commissioner Brett Yormark, who will be owning a stake of this event next year. Baylor only have 7 guys, but all 7 have scored. I think they're a better team when Michael Ratai is involved in the offense. As great as Cameron Carr is, they can get some offense from Skillings. But Ratai is the guy to me who can both score and play make and kind of bring everything together. So I think having him score, and we were talking before we came on air, I'm not like a huge fan of this automatic sit a guy with 2 fouls. Now, you got to coach to your player. So I think Brian Dutcher knows that maybe Magoon is the type of guy who would get his third, which would change the dynamics of the game. But to Dallin's point, to me, that's going to be the big question in the second half, how things change when he's in and how long does he stay in the game.
Now, I want to follow that thought because kids don't understand. You have to earn that trust from your coach. Because I agree with you, and you, as ex-players, I don't want to come out the game, but you have to show your coach you can still be in the fire and not make any dumb plays or fouls to get that third in the first half.
Yeah. I think it's pretty simple. Once you get the first foul, just stop playing defense.
Oh, no.
I like to start that from the beginning.
Now you're going to piss the coach off.
Take you out.
I'm down from the very beginning. No defense optional. I'm just going to chuck threes. That's what I'm looking to do.
You guys would have never made it at camp back when I was about You got all of that blue-collar stuff. You got to guard your yard.
Yes.
I tell young guys, do not pick up a foul for the first 10 minutes because if you get that second foul, it's automatic. How many games have you watched? You pick up the second foul, boom, right to the bench. So I didn't give the coach a choice.
No, that's why when we're watching, I think Yusuf saying the same thing. Like, Coach, I'm good. But you have to prove you're good in situations like this because down the season, down in January, February, March, you're going to be in foul trouble again, but you have to gain that trust to stay in the game.
San Diego State was picked to win the Mountain West Conference. They obviously had a tough loss at home to Troy. They never lose at home. Eyeball test here. I don't see an NCAA tournament team. How about you?
I would say they're probably going to make it. I would put it above 50%. I mean, we got a long way to go. I don't think the league is quite as good as it's been in the past, so that might work against them. You know, I think Reese Dixon Waters has taken a couple of games to get back into the offensive flow after sitting out all of last season with an injury. So he's had a pretty good first half. I think it's very important that San Diego State keeps this pace manageable. They don't want to make this a racehorse game, but I think Dallin said earlier, this is not the defensive team we've seen from Brian Dutcher's teams. Baylor shooting 54% in the first half.
The thing with your question about is this NCAA tournament team, not now, but doesn't mean they won't be in March.
Right.
Like this is the thing is with college basketball, we've seen so much change the last couple of years. Teams are totally different from November to March. Remember, now they don't have the final 10 games. It's no longer a number on the team sheet for the committee. That should be again, because when you are trending in a better state, who you were in November is not who you were in March, and that's more true now than it's ever been.
Well, 2 guys is so far in this Players Era tournament, with all the NBA scouts out there, with all the great teams and players, Carr, Yesufu. Who would you rather have?
Yesufu. He's built like a young man, ready to go. Just keep working him and work a few things out. Yes, he's a young stud ready to have it.
Yeah, he's definitely got the body. Yeah. Cameron Carr's got the athleticism.
Oh, yeah, I love riding a fancy car, but Yusuf, that's the foundation.
There it is. What a night. This is going to be a special. The biggest party night of the year, and you're watching Hoops with us. I love it. Because they're playing for up to $2 million. Mark Few, Dusty May on the sidelines. Down, this was a spread that Michigan was favorite, then Gonzaga was favorite, and then, well, we know who was favorite.
This out in Vegas, right? So this felt like the Tyson Spinks heavyweight championship from almost 30 years, almost 40 years ago. 91 seconds, Tyson knocked that dude out. That's what this feels like right now. We were juiced up for a huge game between 2 big teams, and Michigan has put it on them. They've got any shot they want. They've sped up Gonzaga, and they've controlled this game from tip to finish.
Yeah, Elliot Cadeau buries the 3. It's 38-19 at half. half, and then in the second half, well, Seth, more Michigan.
Yeah, if you're looking for the comeback, you can look elsewhere because that was Morez Johnson at the rim. And then once again, he really gives this team a toughness on the interior, which is a devastating combination with the finesse of a dive. Mara, look out! Jackson Lenneberg hates rims.
Watch your hand.
Oh!
I see a dead body up there.
I know, Grant Foster.
My goodness. $1 million cash. Out of the trash.
Dang.
I love
Michigan's going to get the bag there, and yes. Yeah, this has been utter domination because Michigan, before we came here, they've been up and down, and they've been nothing but up.
Knocked me over with the feather, man. I mean, I'm not surprised, obviously, that Michigan might win the game, but by this margin, my goodness. Only Dallin Cuff saw this coming.
You lie, sir. You lie. Thank you.
Come on back, Baylor, San Diego State, second half. Coming up next on True TV.
For an elf.
Tonight's Geico game summary. Both teams at least 50%. 50% even for the Aztecs, 54% for the Bears, and they lead by 4. Does Baylor out of the Big 12. Brandon Gaughan and Robbie Hummel back with you courtside here in Vegas. Both sides very, very balanced in that first half.
No question. And you look at how Baylor was kind of able to play their way into that first half. The balance stands out. Michael Ratai leads them with 9, but 5 guys with 6 points or more. It's been a balanced effort across the board. The offensive glass has not been there the way that we maybe thought it would be, especially considering San Diego State's issues of rebounding the ball on the defensive side this season. Only 3 offensive rebounds for only 2 second chance points. And for San Diego State, it's really been the bench. You mentioned their balance, but they have 20 bench points. Hasn't necessarily been the starters, but it's been the bench for San Diego State that's carried the day.
That was our Geico moment of the game. Nabil, you caught up with Scott Drew. What did you learn?
Yeah, Coach Drew emphasizing the lack of offensive rebounds, as Robbie had mentioned. He said they've gotten a lot of second chance opportunities to crash in the glass in this tournament. They got to get back to that. He also said they got to shore up their three-point defense. That's going to be really important in the second half.
Well, it's tough when you go against this team defending the arc. Is that on Guath? If it is, he just picked up his 3rd. Remember, he only played 2 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble.
But he's committed some totally silly fouls. I mean, okay, you're late on this screen. They pin you in for the shooter in the corner, but just don't run through the screener. I mean, avoid him, and it's like you're so important to this team that if you give up a 3, okay, coach might yell at you, but he'd rather you be on the floor. He's just not made good decisions tonight.
Well, they're going to leave him out there at least for now.
Oh, that could have been a reach right. That could have easily been a foul on Guath.
Agnew give him the bucket. He will go to the line. Now that foul was on that man, Miles Heide.
Well, watch the. I mean, that was a reach from Magoon Guath there that did not feel like a guy who has 3 fouls.
Agbem, Colorado native, started at a junior college in Colorado, then a Division II school, then Wyoming, and now finishing up at Baylor. Puts his Bears up 6. Miles Bird with 6 on the timer.
Well, good defense by Ratai. He just never left the basketball. Then you leave your feet to pass. That was a very solid defensive effort by Baylor.
On the baseline. Carr, no. And that's where Guath can be so effective, skying for those rebounds.
Baylor's got to match up.
They don't, and Bird makes them pay.
Gotta find him. Miles Bird shooting 41% from 3 on the season. And after Baylor so solid the possession prior defensively, a breakdown in the open floor. They're trying to push him up the lane. Look at the spacing that Baylor has right there. What a block.
That was Heide. But inside a whistle and a foul.
Well, I love the set here from Scott Drew. You clear out the entirety of the side, and you let Tonde Yesufu watch the way he just works Miles Bird right up that lane. And you throw it up top. Great effort by Heidi on the initial block. Tunde Yesufu earns a trip to the line.
Guat didn't get that foul, Robbie, but he came crashing in there again.
He is playing with a reckless abandon on his fouls right now.
Tunde Yesufu from West Africa, freshman, McDonald's All-American, projected lottery pick, and he gets the second. Baylor, by the way, has had a top 19 draft pick in 5 straight drafts. They're the only school that can say that, and Yesufu could possibly continue that. Heidi maneuvering, couldn't get it though.
That play was for Dixon Waters to come off the handoff, but Heidi just kind of broke it and went on one-on-one himself.
Speaking of going one-on-one, Carr can't get it. Carr thought he got a foul, no whistle. Backing up, Dixon Waters. One-handed rebound by Skillings.
Now starting the break.
Gets it back in the corner.
There's a lot of contact there. That looked like a definite foul.
Play on. 2-on-1. A lob and a finger roll for Harrington. It has been entertaining here tonight in Vegas between Baylor and San Diego State. Off the mark from Skillings. Strong rebound.
The Aztecs right there closing down the boards. Multiple guys checking out their man.
Bird, catch and shoot. Over the top. Oh, it's stuck. Who's going to get it? Robbie, they might need you. Or Guath at 7 feet.
What am I going to do with that? Other than grab a basketball and try to hit it. We got Skillings here with the mop. Their jump.
And the bucket. Take a bow. Dan Skillings Jr.
Oh, Vern Harris with the emphatic, and it counts
yes.
there. The official, the veteran official.
Yeah, Vern's great in the backcourt there. Obi Agbim from 3 feet behind the arc, and he missed it badly.
I just think you can get that if you're Agbim whenever you want it.
Jump ball, Aztecs will get it. Baylor just 4 of 14 from deep. The freshman Harrington. Rebound. Yesufu. Yesufu pushes. Now Carr. Slippage.
Slip.
Carr, yes.
That 5-out action, there's just nobody on the interior. So if you get slipped, there's nobody home. Great read there by Cameron Carr.
Three-pointer, short by Dixon Waters, but in comes Odin. Harrington will pull. Harrington will hit.
He is fearless. He's taking these shots. This is a freshman playing a high major opponent, and he's not fazed one bit.
He is not. He's got 11. First in double figures for either team. Carr. Yesufu handles, fires. How about that? It died on the back of the rim.
That's one of those where if you catch it like that, you probably shouldn't shoot it. That thing was off from the second he let it go. But somehow he dies it on the back of the rim in.
Now he's got double digits with 10. Dixon Waters.
Oh, good cut.
Backdoor Harrington, but he left it short.
Really good read, though. On the overplay, he got a great look there.
And we got a timeout on the floor. Baylor leading by 4.
All right, Tunde Yesufu hasn't shot it great on the season, hovering around 28%, but this will make that thing increase. Just tie that on the back of the rim. Boy, maybe he should play his luck here in Vegas.
Welcome back, Geico Players Era Tournament. And yes, Michigan, they get the Geico Trophy. They blitzed Gonzaga 101-61. That is not a typo. Dusty May and the Wolverines, Robbie, they are for real.
They've been rolling. I mean, just the way they're playing, the talent they have on their roster, though. I mean, Dusty May, he's not afraid to stack up some interesting lineups as well. You know, you look at the bigs that they throw out there. At Michigan, there were some questions in how those pieces fit together, and those are starting to be answered in a big way.
Our producer Dan Keener said it well. He said, since we're in Vegas, need to mention that Gonzaga was a 3.5-point favorite. That did not work out for the Bulldogs tonight.
Well, you know, early on, overtime win against Wake Forest, who's a not top 25 opponent, but a good one. Beat TCU on the road, but then they get out here, and they've just started to roll.
They won by 30, 40, and 40. Plus 110 in this tournament for Michigan. Unbelievable.
And really for them, only one non-conference game left for them. It's a high major opponent, Villanova, on December 9th.
Dusty May, all smiles as they fly back east to Ann Arbor. Who's going to win here? Final game of the tournament for Baylor and San Diego State. The Bears by 4. Carr disrupted.
Had the roll man, finally got it to him.
And Powell puts it home.
He was open forever. Powell was just hanging out down there. Harold Compton, you got to get back a little bit quicker.
Sean Newman with it. Attacks, kicks, in rhythm, 3, and it's all net that time for Odin. Aztecs doing what they do, right around 50% from distance. Knifing into the lane, no whistle. Aztecs race, they kick. 3 on the way and good. DeGorville ties us at 50.
Boy, for him to have the confidence to take that shot, 2 of his last 16 from the field, but off the turnover, San Diego State getting out and running and finding an open 3 on the wing.
Oh, no foul. Instead, Carr stepped on the sideline. And we go the other way.
It's almost like Cameron Carr thought this was like open gym. I mean, he just stopped playing. Skip pass across the floor. This time it's Jeremiah Odin. And in the open court, B.J. Davis, he's bringing this off the turnover. Taj DeGorville running that wing. And to feel good for him, he has struggled shooting the basketball.
He has, and he is from Vegas. Led Durango High School to a 5A title here as a junior. That school just 10 miles from here. Down the lane, finger roll up and in, and San Diego State takes the lead.
Well, I love the action. Bring B.J. Davis off that pin down, and you could see it. Caden Powell so concerned about the lob to Pharaoh Compton, he never stops the basketball.
Baylor needs this, and it drops for Obi Agbim.
That's another guy that's been struggling with his jumper, but off the skip pass, a little bit late, rotating over.
Now 12 lead changes. DeGorville, yes, make it 13 lead changes.
This is the defense optional half, but it is entertaining. There is not a team on the floor right now that can get a stop.
This is fun. Knocked out, and it went off of Baylor.
I thought it was off Caden Powell. Now he is adamant about this being reviewed.
We'll see if they review it. They did rule it off of Powell. In the meantime, Scott Drew has taken a timeout. I think he is asking Caden Powell, are you sure? Nabil, what are you seeing over there?
Well, here on the bench, the assistant coaches and the video coaches they're saying not to challenge it. So they got a good look at it there. They were trying to get that across to Coach Drew, but it looks like we're going for the challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Might be too late.
Well, it seemed like from our vantage point that this does go off. Well, I thought live it was off Powell. I'd like to see that again. There, I think it's off Pharaoh Compton.
Yeah, I think it's off Compton. Yeah, I think so,
Yeah,
right?
I think it is. So Coach Drew should go against the video guys and challenge.
Well, they are reviewing it. It is officially a challenge for Baylor.
I will say Caden Powell's reaction was immediately to challenge that play. Now, players lie about this a lot, so
Yes.
you never know.
A reminder on the rules this year. So if Baylor loses this challenge, they have no more. If they get this right, they have one more. Randy McCall, Vern Harris, Isaac Barnett, the three officials tonight.
I think we're still seeing some of these coaches kind of figure out how the challenge system works for them.
And getting their bench involved in the replay system, because you got to move quickly.
No doubt. I think Pharaoh Compton, there's not really a question to me at this point that he hit this out of bounds.
Do those three gentlemen agree that it's indisputable? While we wait, they play Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer here to liven things up at Michelob Ultra Arena. Vern Harris is coming over here. Well, Vern Harris said after looking at 7 different angles, Robbie, what's the verdict?
That's going to be Baylor basketball.
So Baylor keeps their challenge. They get one more.
So does that end up being the media timeout? Or no, we never went to break. So that's just a called Baylor timeout. We're all still trying to figure out the challenge system.
Scott Drew did take a timeout before all of that happened. Had he not done that, he would have kept his timeout, but he had already used it. You're loving this music, aren't you?
They're doing the kiss cam in the arena, and it's
nothing gets you going in Vegas 3 hours before Thanksgiving like Sixpence None the Richer.
I'm impressed you know that. I didn't know who sang this song.
I was young once.
I know the song, but
those two are really in love. There we go.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
He'll be at the roulette wheel later. San Diego State by 1. Baylor gets the basketball back here.
Well, props to Caden Powell for telling the truth. That's a rarity for all players when the ball is called off on them.
All right, play resumes after all of that activity. From the wing, catch and shoot for Obi Agbim. He's heating up.
Boy, they are driving that to the baseline, but then screening back and cracking back for Agbim. It's found the range here tonight.
How about that strip by Williams? He does it himself. First it was Agbim, now Isaac Williams. Baylor by 4. Newman. No. Tap back, no. Agbim been feeling it lately. Gives it up this time. Williams is going to draw the contact against Davis.
Hey, how about the spark here of these Baylor point guards? Well, it's Agbim. It's certainly Isaac Williams. Agbim didn't force it. Throw it right back. And this is Isaac Williams just taking the rock. Sean Newman giving it up. Isaac Williams getting out there and getting an easy basket.
Coverage on True TV presented by Eli Lilly. Always a lot of fun here in Vegas, and it has been an awesome event again this year, year 2 of the Players Era. Geico assist leaderboard. Everybody getting into the act. Dixon, Waters, Newman, the top guys for the Aztecs with 4.
Well, Brandon, how about San Diego State's bench? And they've been one of the better benches in the country this year, averaging just under 40 points a game. But they're already at 30 here with over half of the second half to go.
It's so different, right? They run 11 deep. They've got a lot of experience back. Baylor only has 7 players right now available, and they're all new.
No, the juxtaposition of the two just certainly lineups and styles here. It's loud. What a turnover there. Now Agbim, man, just a little bit casual there for San Diego State coming out of that timeout.
Baylor right now on a 7-0 run and looking to add to it. Yesufu, nowhere to go. Williams off the fake. Tapped in the air. Oden grabs it.
Good rebound there by Oden. Pharaoh Compton battling down there as well.
Newman stops, drops.
They gave it to him too late. It's either shoot it or give it to him initially. That little pause allowed Baylor to get back into play.
Tough stretch here over the last few minutes for the Aztecs. Moving that ball quickly. Skillings off the shot fake. Oh,
so close.
It looked good until the end, but there is a foul.
Boy, that was like the Statue of Liberty dunk right there. That was going to be impressive.
Until it wasn't.
Until you ran out of juice.
A for effort. Well, he did get hit on the arm.
He did get a little bit of contact there.
San Diego State, pretty boisterous crowd here late on Thanksgiving Eve. Making sure their voices are heard. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is brought to you by Eli Lilly, a medicine company. And by Geico, it feels good to Geico. San Diego State just had a hockey line change. Brian Dutcher changing out his crew. And keep an eye on number 0, Magoon Guaf, who has not done anything tonight. Hasn't even put up a shot in 5 minutes because of foul trouble. Short. Oh, what a follow by Skillings.
But Yesufu took multiple San Diego State defenders there with him to clear that way for Skillings.
And then 2 at the rim, and Baylor has opened it up. Their largest lead. They're on a 10-0 run.
Wise to go right at Magoon Guaf. He doesn't want to foul, so you just attack him off the bounce.
And Williams picks it up 45 feet from the hoop.
He's just a little shot fake, little jab, and Guaf doesn't want to get physical because he knows he cannot get another foul.
Crossover. Harrington, he was going to hammer that.
He had bad intentions.
Slipped away from him. Yesufu, Powell offensive board. Down the lane, Williams. Tapped out.
What a tap out there.
But Baylor is just dominating right now on both ends. Have to think it's going to be a timeout for the Aztecs if Baylor scores here. Blocked by Guaf. Baylor still has it.
Oh, what a Euro.
Goodness. A 12-0 run and indeed a timeout by Brian Dutcher.
Boy, Scott Drew is fired up, and certainly Brian Dutch are going to have to find some answers here. Baylor getting it going on the offensive boards. That's a disgusting Euro step from Isaac Williams. Everybody for Baylor contributing here. They push this to 11.
9:04 to play. Baylor on a 12-0 run to lead it by 11 as we take a peek here from Vegas at our Sam's Club play of the game.
Well, how about Isaac Williams off the bench into double figures with 13, but the Euro step, you got the help coming over from Miles Heide. That Euro avoids it all. Kind of puts the brakes on a little bit. A nasty move, and Baylor on a 12-0 run over the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, they have taken control of this game as we have flipped over past 9 o'clock here locally. That means it's after 12 o'clock on the East Coast. So happy Thanksgiving to our East Coast viewers. If you want to sneak down and grab some apple pie, we won't judge you. Get an early start.
That's what you would do. I know how
Absolutely.
you roll.
That and pecan. What's your favorite? You're not a pumpkin pie guy, are you?
I like pecan pie and pumpkin pie. Not a big apple pie guy.
Okay. Well, we can split the pecan. I'll take the apple. You take the pumpkin. All right.
Oh, I like the play. Trying to get Magoon Guath anything. Trying to get him a duck in there. They missed him, but pretty good job by Dan Skillings of fighting him down there.
Guath still has not put up a shot in limited minutes. Tapped into the backcourt.
Williams is everywhere.
And he almost got himself a steal. Now watch the shot clock here. How often do you see that? From 55 feet, he had to put it up, and it's Baylor ball.
Isaac Williams has been awesome in this game. He's having a great year. Off the bench, so efficient, averaging almost 10 a game.
He won 2 Texas State titles at Faith Academy near Dallas, but was not heavily recruited. Started at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and now a big transfer up to Baylor.
Well, if there's somebody that can find some of those gems at the lower levels, it's certainly Scott Drew. He's done it time and time again.
23rd year as the head coach there. His team's on a 12-0 run. They got to go right now. Step back. Off the mark from Yesufu.
But by Yesufu right there, it's a physical play that's not enough to be an offensive foul, but look at the way he knocks back Miles Bird.
A foul. Now, will they count that bucket for goaltending? They haven't yet. We'll sort it out when we get back. 7:55 to play. Which team is going to get 2 wins here in Vegas? And which team is going to go back to their pumpkin pie 1 and 2? We'll find out. Hey! 65-54, Baylor leading at San Diego State. They haven't scored in over 4.5 minutes. Now, one thing that is in their favor is that Isaac Williams IV just picked up his 4th foul for Baylor. He's been tremendous.
Well, I think for San Diego State, your best players are going to have to play like it here if you're going to find a way to get back in this thing. They're going to need more from Reese Dixon-Waters and also from Miles Bird. Those guys are going to have to factor in here over the last 8 minutes. They got some major work to do because Baylor has all the momentum.
This guy's their leading scorer, the freshman, LZ Harrington, but he misses the first. By the way, before the break, that was a clean block on the foul, so no goaltend. 2 free throws here. That does stop the Baylor 12-0 run. They do their Ric Flair impersonation like they like to do at San Diego State.
That could have been another foul on Guath on that screen. He just shoved him over and then gets blown right by Skillings.
Dan Skillings Jr. last 3 years at Cincinnati, finishing up his career at Baylor. Good bucket. And that's short on the other end. Now Baylor really starting to flex their muscles here in Vegas. Oh, did he travel?
Yeah.
Well, San Diego State got it in the end.
A little bit out of control there by Skillings. They need this guy to be a factor. Oh, man.
That's not where he wanted it to go. Bird with a bad miss. Tunde Yesufu challenged at the apex by Heidi. 5-on-4 if they push.
Well, good job by Yesufu getting back. Dixon Waters didn't really force the issue, though, and then you kind of settle for that three. And those are the last two possessions. Those are the guys you need if you're San Diego State.
Brian Dutcher was shaking his head. His team has missed their last 7 shots. Haven't had a field goal in 6 minutes, San Diego State. Here goes Skillings Jr. Ran into his own man. Has to put it up. Oh! And he drops it at the end of the clock.
Just the way Scott Drew drew it up.
Well, Scott Drew's going to take a timeout as his team has opened up their largest lead of the night.
Well, we've had some wild ones here. Here's the Dan Skillings spin move that went into the 4 steps. Now, it was a turnover, but a little bit wild, and then this is not a master class in spacing. He just takes that one off the cheek, and then you know what? It's not always good offense. Sometimes it's just a good individual play.
Oh, 3rd game in 3 days for Baylor with a short bench, but they're making it work. Hey, college football's biggest stage returns, and the stakes could not be higher. College football playoff kicking off December 19th and 20th with first-round coverage presented by Allstate. Tomorrow, Oregon and Creighton, UNLV and Rutgers. Robbie Nabil and I will have those games. And then on the women's side, what a good one. Top 5 tilt between South Carolina and Texas, and then Duke and UCLA. And the Aztecs in the drought.
This is an interesting lineup, but with no Dixon Waters and no Miles Byrd out on the floor.
Inside wide open, they lost track of Compton.
But honestly, the bench has been so productive for San Diego State. You go to the second 5, immediately a wide open shot at the rim.
First field goal since the 12:30 mark for the Aztecs. Williams has had such a great game. He's playing with 4 fouls out there. Gives it up. Obi Agbim. Ratai, the native of Germany. Double team. 1 to shoot. Take it away.
A great help by DeGorville right there.
And a good pass by DeGorville. And once again, it's Compton.
I give so much credit to this San Diego State bench because they've come in here and immediately got them back some juice.
Carr passes inside. It's going to be a travel. They say the defense was clean. Well, the Aztecs are not done yet.
There's that double team. Taj DeGorville comes flying over. It's end of shot clock. Good help defense. Leads to the run out. How about the pass? Reward your big fella for running the floor. Pharaoh Compton getting there.
Handoff comes to B.J. Davis. They work it around the outside. Newman. Still plenty of time. Compton's been the man. They're going to call that a block. It almost went in. 2 at the line for Compton.
Just the offensive flow with this 5 for San Diego State has been so much better. Moving the ball from side to side. That could have been a charge, certainly. Lowers that shoulder. But you know what? You got a guy like Pharaoh Compton just kind of putting that on the officials. To the aggressor, they give him the call.
Even though he's from Chicago, he finished his high school ball in this state, was the #1 recruit in Nevada out of high school a couple of years ago. But he misses the first of 2. Yesufu. Scott Drew getting him back into the game. Compton missed them both. And then trying to get it back, they're going to call a foul on Taj DeGorville.
Boy, that's their 7th foul. That's a bad foul, 94 feet from the basket.
That's going to put Caden Powell at the line.
And Farrell Compton shot a good percentage on the year from the line. So you think about this potential 4-point swing as San Diego State was really starting to get some momentum.
And Caden Powell, who is from Waco, gets the first. He was at Wyoming, then Rice, then he was able to return home to Waco to finish his college ball. He grew up going to games for the Bears, but he misses the second. 11-point Baylor lead. DeGorville fading. No.
That was not a good shot for San Diego State.
Brian Dutcher agrees based on his body language on the sideline. Almost taken away. Agbim keeps. Cameron Carr had 27 yesterday.
2 on the ball, got to move it. There you find the big.
Kick out. Agbim has to hoist. In and out. That's a tie-up. The arrow is going to keep it here, but we've got a little bit of a wrestling match underneath the hoop. They separate them. Newman and Yesufu going at it. Final media timeout. Just 3:53 left. It's been a battle all night. That continues here towards the end of this one between Baylor and San Diego State. It's where the Vegas Golden Knights play. And speaking of the NHL, tune in to the NHL on TNT's Thanksgiving Showdown Friday as the New York Rangers take on the Boston Bruins. Coverage begins 12:30 Eastern on TNT and HBO Max. Baylor with just 7 guys available, playing their 3rd game in 3 days. Really took control of this game midway through the second half, and they are up 11 with less than 4 to play.
We'll see if San Diego State can maybe force some turnovers, get some runouts. They're going to have to make up some ground, and rather quickly here. They're also going to have to rebound, because Baylor has shown at times this year, really for most of this year, that they are an elite offensive rebounding team.
Set play to get it to Agbim, and he buries the triple.
They just get right back to him in the corner. Really good set play by Scott Drew coming out of that timeout.
Obi Agbim has 14, and the lead is 14, largest of the game. Newman tries to answer, but cannot.
What a rebound. Yesufu taking on Farrell Compton. That's a guard blocking out the much bigger at 6'7", 230 Compton.
Baylor trying to exit Las Vegas 5-1 before returning back to Waco. Trying to drop San Diego State to 3-3. Aztecs had a tough upsetting loss against Troy in overtime earlier this year. Long range. Carr! Oh, my! And now they're really opening it up.
Cameron Carr has a lot of ability. There's a reason you're starting to see his name pop up on draft boards.
And he has showed it here under the bright lights of Vegas. But a 3-pointer for Davis, and he'll have a chance to make it 4.
I think they counted that as a 2, just from watching the official. I think that foot might have been on the line.
Yep, you're right, Robbie.
Well, this is just hesitate, let that thing fly into shot clock. Got to make a play. And we'll see with B.J. Davis's foot right here. Yep, that toe on the line.
3 words I don't like to say. You're right, Robbie. But
you say them all the time.
Well, no, I don't. That's why it felt so weird.
It was a foreign statement.
Oh, wait a minute.
Foul.
I think that Compton is the one who just shoved there. The officials coming in right away to try to take control of the situation. Watch this between him and Powell.
Ooh, honestly, If I'm Cameron Carr, I'm not happy about this. And certainly not for Powell either, but that could have been awful.
Yeah, right into his knees.
That foot gets caught up in there. That's a really dangerous play.
I would think they will go to the monitor and look at this.
Well, I think Brian Dutcher wants this to be reviewed for a hook and hold. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, it's the coach of the player who is the guilty party that wants them to take a look at it, and they will. It was ruled a common foul on the floor and the 4th on Compton. I don't know. I kind of think they both were holding each other.
You always have to have. He's never actually locking that down. That's the kind of indicator for the hook and hold is you've got a clamp. They're kind of tied up, but he's never clamping. But I've been wrong on many of these before. These hook and holds can be tricky.
Gets you showing some humility around Thanksgiving.
I give thanks for my incorrect officiating takes.
It is a tough call, though.
No, it is. It totally is. I don't think that is a hook and hold, though. I think they're both jostling. They're both tied up.
But will they upgrade the foul on Compton? Because they certainly can do that.
That's a strong dude right there. He just discarded a pretty big guy.
He's a big boy, 6'7", 235, Compton. Well, back to the monitor once more. San Diego State had some great moments in the first half, but Baylor really opening it up here late.
Well, they need more from their better players. Like Guath has 0.
I think
Dixon
those
Waters 6 and Bird 7.
Those 2 early fouls on Magoon Guath really
he was never
hurt
in,
them.
and it didn't seem like when he got back in he was in the right frame of mind. Really frustrated with his foul trouble.
And he's just been over like he is right now. Mountain West freshman and defensive player of the year last season in the Mountain West. He is a key cog in that Aztec wheel.
Well, and from a rim protection standpoint, he changes the game with that. He's an elite shot blocker. This is a long discussion here.
You would have to think it's about whether or not they're going to upgrade that foul. Is the turkey ready yet, Robbie?
I was going to. What did you order for our post-game food?
Turkey, stuffing, dressing,
Nice.
sweet potato casserole.
You're getting it in a day early, huh?
Baylor bench is trying to stay entertained. Oh, he got it. That's Drew Perry over there, freshman from Dallas, with a successful flip. Well, they are going to upgrade the foul. You just talked to the official, Vern Harris. What did he tell you?
The hook and hold, there was no clamp, so there's no hook and hold. And that was asked to be reviewed by Brian Dutcher. But it does stand with the dead ball contact technical foul. So Baylor shoots the foul shots, and now they get the basketball on the other end.
I think that's the right call, don't you?
I totally agree.
Just a frustrating moment on a frustrating night for Compton and the Aztecs. Tunde Yesufu brings it up. Heavy pressure. Tapped out, but look at that. It's been that kind of night for Baylor.
That back tap ended up right there in the hands of Cameron Carr.
Everybody has gotten into the act. 5 in double figures for the Bears. There's a block, but a foul on Ratai.
Honestly, the balance for both of these teams has been pretty just different from what you usually see in a basketball game. Tunde Isufu, a little over-aggressive maybe, breaking that press with 2:29 to go. You want to get it across and then pull it out and burn clock. That thing gets back-tapped, and fortunate for him, it ends up in the hands of one of his teammates.
The way this was going, I did not think either team was going to run away with it. It looked like it was a great battle back and forth. We had a zillion lead changes, but now it's all Bears.
The San Diego State offense kind of went in the tank with their starting five. Then their bench came in, gave them a spark, and then this has kind of petered out as well.
Obi Agbim, he's had a nice night with 14 points. And just no rush right now for Scott Drew and the Bears. Agbim gives it up. Yesufu short on it. Rebound is Simmons. Bird doing his part.
That's a foul.
Yes, it is.
Skillings did not go straight up.
And the bucket for Miles Bird, the preseason Mountain West Player of the Year.
Well, you need quick baskets here. Skillings thinks he's going vertical, but he certainly is not.
And now Bird. Dad Calvin was a great player. Calvin was a McDonald's All-American, played at Villanova. Coached in college for a long time, and his son is able to complete the three-point play.
San Diego State's going to have to heat this up here. They've got to be sending multiple guys just like that. That was an opportunity.
Scott Drew is telling his guys, do not shoot, just hold up. But Yesufu does attack, draws the foul on Davis.
Did you hear that a lot at Evansville High School?
Don't shoot?
Yeah, just
well,
hold
I was
it.
on the end of the bench. I said, Brandon, get everybody a water. I said, okay, coach.
Yeah.
Rob, you're taking a lot of shots.
Well, I got to get him in. I
Thanksgiving
got
on
to
the
get him
East
in when I
Coast.
can, because you are one of those guys that's opportunistic. So
You're learning.
Yeah, if you don't defend yourself out here, it can be a dangerous place to work.
Maybe you and I have just spent too much time together.
We have done
We were
a lot.
at the
We've done
Mohegan Sun.
We've done a lot of games
Flew across
together.
the country here.
We were in LA a couple weeks ago too. Yeah, we've done a lot of games this year.
3 games yesterday, 2 today, a couple more tomorrow to finish off this great event here in Vegas. Well, missed it. Newman will push.
It's got to go up.
It will go up, but it does not go down. Ripping it out of there. Look at Carr.
That's a man's board right there by Cameron Carr.
Now it's a race against the clock. Give Davis credit. He poked it free. He dunks it home. Timeout. 1:19 remaining.
Like Ratai was handling the basketball like it was the 5-on-0 press break and shoot around. there was not an understanding that these San Diego State guards are in pursuit, and they are looking to tip this away. Good job by B.J. Davis. The throw ahead right back to him. If you're Baylor, all it is right now is talking about ball security. 119, you're up 11. You take care of the ball, make a couple free throws. This one's over with.
By the way, B.J. Davis, number 10. What other number 10 named B.J. in the city of Chicago? B.J. Armstrong. That's right.
Is there a tie-in to B.J. Davis?
Just the same first name, number 10, same size.
I was waiting for the
No,
hook.
I was testing you, a Chicago kid now living there. If you remember those Bulls
If you
teams.
like the 90s Bulls, which
Yeah.
I did, then. Yeah, I heard B.J. Armstrong was actually here, and he's an agent now.
Yeah, he was here.
That's the tie-in.
Yeah, he was. Now we're bringing it full circle.
Well done. A
There
great
have
story,
been,
Brandon.
really, with this event, the 18 teams that have been here, Robbie, the number of agents and NBA executives that have come through the doors of these arenas, there's been a ton of
Yeah,
them.
we saw Danny Ainge yesterday. Yeah, certainly no shortage of good players and great competition. And I think for those NBA executives, they're always thinking, how can I see the most amount of good players with the least amount of travel?
And this is the spot to do it.
This is where it's at.
Next year they're going to expand this tournament to 32 teams. Now the details of that haven't been ironed out, but you could have even more teams here and an even bigger event.
Yep.
But it's been a lot of fun in the second year as they continue to iron everything out.
This is going to be max pressure from San Diego State. It's an all-out blitz here. As they say on Madden, engage 8. You would know that, wouldn't you?
Well, Robbie, sometimes I just read what they tell me to read for that.
No,
With
engage
you,
8 is a
I have to
play.
think.
Engage 8's a play.
I know. Sometimes we have to call those out, though.
You say they're running engage 8?
Sometimes
Are you
we
saying
call the plays
it's an
out.
all-out blitz?
Yeah. There's a lot of new things in Madden these days since you were a kid.
I
You're
haven't
old
played
now.
it in a while, so. The voice of Madden, it's an honor.
Stop right now. Baylor gets both. They're in the double bonus the rest of the way. Sean Newman across the timeline. And he gets it, and a foul. Scott Drew not very happy. That is 5 on Isaac Williams, and San Diego State still has a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, if you're Scott Drew, you're thinking we're going to be in close games later on in the season, and we've got to do a better job of finishing this off. But from a San Diego State perspective, you're thinking, all right, just keep giving yourself a chance.
Williams did have a solid game, though, with 13 points. He was effective in 19 minutes out there. As the season goes for Scott Drew and Baylor, obviously you worry about the depth and who might take over that Robert Wright role at point guard. What else do you watch as they go into Big 12
Well, I just
play?
think, can you play 5 perimeter players? Now, you're going to have some advantages on the offensive end if bigs are trying to guard those guys, but you've also got a rebound on the defensive end, which has been a problem on the season, and you're going to have to handle some guys that have some real size and skill.
And you're going to have to learn how to get the ball inbound. Scott Drew takes a timeout. That's a good point, though, the way that they play with that lineup.
Yeah, they got to guard them, too.
Yeah.
And that's where small ball can be so difficult because you've got so much skill out there. You're guarding it with guys that aren't used to being out there. But you can also get just obliterated on the boards and in the paint.
A reminder, we are not done after this. Well, we are done for today, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. Oregon and Creighton. So you'll have Dana Altman against his former team, the Blue Jays, and then UNLV, the local squad, against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And how about on the women's side, a couple of really good ones tomorrow evening. Brandon Gautin, Robbie Hummel, to Bill Kareem, our producer Dan Keener, director Mark Vittorio, and the rest of our crew. Burning the East Coast Midnight Oil here in Vegas tonight. And even though San Diego State, Robbie, had that tough loss to Troy and they'll leave here 3-3, when they get Mountain West play, they're always going to be a force to be reckoned with.
They totally are. Just the job that Brian Dutcher, and you mentioned Steve Fisher, and the way he's built this whole thing, they are always in the mix, top 2, top 3 in the Mountain West Conference.
And remember, they're just a couple years removed from getting to the national championship game against Connecticut. In the Sweet 16 2 years ago, they made it to the tournament again last year. 5 straight NCAA tournaments for the Aztecs. Look at this.
Them and Utah State are always, that's what you're looking at.
And Baylor's still having trouble. A hold, though, against DeGorville at San Diego State.
Well, Baylor went to the football play, but they weren't really running inspired routes there.
They heard you talking about it over here. Yeah, how they came on the court earlier. They were ready for some gridiron action.
You had football pregame, and then how about what they were doing at halftime? They did something that I've never seen. They went shell drill to get back into their warm up for the second half.
Yeah, so they're moving around extra with just 7 players basically.
Yeah. I have not, especially at the college level, I've never seen a team come out of the halftime break and not do layup lines. Nonetheless, shell drill, which every player hates to do.
Scott Drew made him do it. 12-point game. Baylor leading it.
Gotta guard the ball.
Newman slipped right out of his hand. And then speaking of slipping,
That was definitely a foul.
the tie appears to be okay. Well, soccer. We've had football, basketball, now soccer for DeGorville. This is what you're talking about at halftime.
Jump into the ball. Oh, man. This would be every player's worst nightmare. It's coming out of the break and having to jump to the ball. Fun times.
If Matt Painter had told you that in the locker room,
We'd be not thrilled. We would have done it. He made us in an NCAA tournament media practice one time do rebound war. Everybody else was shooting half-court shots and dunking, and we were doing rebounding drills.
a dunk by Yetsufu, an exclamation mark for Baylor. Well, there's a reason Matt Painter's had a lot of success.
They don't do that anymore, let me tell you.
They do win a lot.
They do win a lot.
Three is good for Reese Dixon Waters.
This last 2 minutes, they're stretching this bad boy.
They're making you earn your paycheck, Rob.
That's right.
So we'll walk to the other end. Well, Baylor will leave here with two decent wins on their resume. The win against Creighton Monday. Yes, they lost to St. John's yesterday, but that's a quad one loss. And then the win here against San Diego State. And the Aztecs, their lone win here will be against Oregon yesterday. But a lot to build on for Brian Dutcher. And again, he's got so much back in Miles Bird, Reese Dixon Waters, Lagoon Guath, and that freshman, Elsie Harrington. They've got a lot to build on.
Well, it's strange to see their defensive efficiency in the 40s. Because normally they're like 2, 4, 10. Like they're normally a top 10, 15 defense. And that's not what this group is right now. Now, can they become that? Maybe. But another 87 here, that's not going to help the cause.
Bird. Well, he gets it a little more interesting. 87-78.
Boy, this has not been the smoothest ending here for Baylor. It worked out, but
Yetsufu pads his stat line. He's got 18 now. Everybody's getting shots up late. Another one. Reese Dixon Waters again. Out of bounds, and it goes to San Diego State with 2.3 left. Is there an 8-point shot on the court?
I think they called a foul.
Oh, they did.
I think the officials had two different calls.
You're right. One pointed the other way for the Aztecs, but it is going to be a foul.
My officiating analysis has been on point tonight.
If on point, by that you mean poor, then yes.
What?
Yes.
How many times have I been like just rolling?
You've given a lot of digs this way. I had to give you one shiv to the love handle.
This last 2 minutes has taken 40, it feels like.
And Baylor hits 90.
To the love handle. That was a shot, too. I skipped my workout today.
Well, that's right, and it's going to grow tomorrow with that tryptophan you're going to put in there. Let the suction cup some of that out of you. Players Era after dark here in Vegas. Final seconds.
Just touch the ball, please.
They're going to wait. Bird. No. Baylor. Short man, but they get the win. 91-81 the final over San Diego State. Given what they were up against with that short bench, Scott Drew leaves here 2-1. Not too bad.
Yeah, and still some things to work on. That they need to hopefully get Bodo healthy. I mean, that would go a long way just because of his sheer size, but they are tough to guard. You put 5 perimeter players out there, you run good action, Got some guys that can get it going. Cameron Carr certainly one of them. It'll be interesting to see, can Baylor play small in the Big 12?
Obi Agbim played well tonight. He is our impact player, presented by Lilly.
Obi Agbim certainly struggling with his jump shot, but that wasn't the case tonight. They needed every bit of his offense. 16 points, knocked down 4 triples, was 2 of 10 from 3 coming into the game. He loves this play. He's inbounding it. You always got to be aware that he can get to that corner. Obi Agbim, Baylor Bears fans happy to see he gets it going.
Nabil's with the whole team.
I got everybody here, guys. I think I got to start with you, though. When your team needed it the most, you dominated on both ends of the court. Where did that edge come from?
Just my teammates, like these guys, believing in me every time. So they keep telling me be aggressive both ways, and I know when they believe in me, it's going to be great things.
I'll join it. All right. I'll play along. Okay, so many new faces here, right, on this team. You guys look like you're a family already. How have you guys come together so quickly?
We got to play in Germany, so we all got really close. And, we all stayed really consistent with each other. And, we just love each other.
All right, one more. Why is this group so special, man?
We just all love each other, man. That's it. Simple as that.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
All right.
Nabil, that's the perfect way to end tonight. We had a lot of fun, folks, and we appreciate you joining us. Robbie Hummel, Nabil Kareem, I'm Brandon Gaudin. We thank our producer, Dan Keener, our director, Matt Vittorio, our associate director, Leslie Zeroli, our graphics producers, Cam Tu, Raul Bonilla, our statistician,